Super Bowl weekend is here. Welcome back to Nestlin.com. He's Matt Chatham, three-time Super Bowl champion. I'm surprised you're not wearing your ring today or anything like that. I'm Sammy P. We're diving into Super Bowl props, and I want to start with the first quarter and the first half. These are correlated for me, Matt. I think it's going to be a slower starting game. I believe in the speed, maybe late in the game. The key for these plays, though, Eric Fisher not being in the lineup for the Kansas City Chiefs. So that's the left tackle and the right tackle, both out. Those are the heartthrobs or the heart pulses for the offense. I don't know if they're heartthrobs per se, but I think this offense is going to struggle. Maybe they make adjustments late in the game, but I think this is a slower crawl early in the game. And let's be real, Tom Brady has not been good. He's a notoriously slow starter in Super Bowls. In 3 of the last big games, he's been involved in 0-0 first quarters. That's alarm.
That's a long-worn story around here. I think Patriots fans know that one really well. I'm going to go with another idea here for the rushing attack. And I think one of the things that the Chiefs would have had to have learned in watching the tape a week ago, those Packers facing the Bucs, there was that unfortunate Aaron Jones fumble. They abandoned the run a bit. And I tend to think here on this particular prop, I'm going to go CLYDE Edwards-HELAIRE as actually having the higher rush total, even money here, than Ronald Jones. It was odd to see the prop here sort of set up Jones versus Edwards-HELAIRE. Had that been a 1-for-1 with Fournette, I'm staying away from it. But I tend to think Fournette's going to have the lead role and that the Chiefs will at least have learned a little bit from tape to go ahead and run the football a little bit. You can't abandon it entirely.
Yeah, this plays into that whole ball control part of that. I think the other side of that first quarter under 10 and the first half under 27.5 is that the Bucs want to keep Mahomes off the field, and they have a really good defensive line. So this sort of plays into the whole equation here. I think it'll speed up late because Mahomes, it might take time for them and that offensive attack, Andy Reid, Eric Bieniemy, it might take time for them to make the adjustments, and they might not figure it out until they get that long break at the half. You know how it is. You've been there before. Sometimes you have to see it before you can make the adjustments.
Yeah, and I'm interested if they get into that kind of style late, Sammy. You know, the Bucs have been this team that like shot plays, right? There's more of these 20-yard in the air type balls for Tom than we've seen at really a lot of the more recent sort of instances in his career. And one of the biggest guys to get those balls is AB. But Antonio Brown this week is injured, misses last week's game, has the MRI, he's got the knee issue going on. He's missing late week practices. Arians is still a little bit sort of murky on whether or not he's going to play. We'll presume he's going to play, but the prop that's out here is one where AB's top reception being north or south of 18.5 points. I'm going to go south. We can sort of presume that he'll play, tape it up, shoot it up. It's the Super Bowl. But are you willing under these circumstances to presume an explosive play from AB? I think that's a little rougher area. So I'm actually going to go under on that 18.5, being sort of any reception he has sits on that side of the ledger.
I'd go over in 2014, 2017. I'm not so sure about 2021 at this point in time, which transitions into my favorite prop in the Super Bowl. And I've actually done this in 4 of the last 5 years, and it's been really good for the bankroll. Longest touchdown under. We're going under 47.5 yards. It used to be 50.5. It used to be 49.5, but the books have caught on here. People love touchdowns. They love overs. They love big plays. They love Tyreek Hill running for 70 yards. I'm going to short all that. The longest touchdown usually in the Super Bowl is like 30 yards or so. But because of the potential for a kick return or a punt return, you got a lot of speed with Hardman and Hill and Mickens, the return man for Tampa Bay. There are some options on the field, but I'm going under 47.5 for the longest score.
Well, I am here going to go a little different way as far as game style than you. It's not necessarily, and I get to stay away from points here. I'm just going on the yardage totals. I think the group that will actually be a little more close to its norm is the Bucs rather than the Chiefs. I love that you hit on that offensive line part earlier. I think it affects a lot of things going on with Kansas City more than it's been sold this week. But I'm going to go with an over on a net yard total of 38. I believe it's 383.5. So 383 yards and a half for the Bucs total. I'm going north of that. In part here, we know that these two teams played one another early in the season. Wasn't a great day for the Bucs. And on that day for the Bucs, they only scored 24 points, yet they were a 418-yard net team offensively. So on a day where they weren't performing where I think they'll be performing this upcoming weekend, they still netted out on the yards in the absence of the points. So I think an over on that 383 is a safe bet for the Bucs. Ooh, I almost did that. I almost said Patriots. Tom leading that group, I think they're going to have a fine day.
You mentioned Tom. Let's wrap it up quickly here. I know you're itching. You're itching for Tom Brady to get that 4th down conversion. Take it home.
It's one of those layups. It's like, good Lord, it's whether or not there's going to be a fourth down conversion by the Bucs. 0. And it's even money, and I'm going to go for 1. Of course, just give them 1. Give Tom the ball goosed in one of those slow first or second quarters that you saw there, and just get the conversion. All I need is 1, Tommy.
Fall forward. Fall forward, not backward. Forward, not backward. He's Matt Chatham. I'm Sammy P. Enjoy the big game, and check out NESN.com/odds for all your Super Bowl coverage.